Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive into Never Finished by David Goggins.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna be good.
Seriously, this book is like a total manual for anyone who wants to push their limits and, really reach their full potential. And Goggins doesn't just tell you crazy stories about his own insane feats, like the time he ran 100 miles with broken
Oh,
bones.
I remember that one.
I
Crazy.
know, right? But he also gives us these super practical tools like the cookie jar and the accountability mirror to help us tap into, our own inner badass.
Yeah, that's what I love about Goggins.
Yeah.
He's just brutally honest. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He just tells you straight up
Sure.
that growth comes from facing those challenges head on, like leaning right into discomfort.
Totally. So he gives you no BS, just straight talk and practical methods for personal transformation.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack this whole embracing the grind philosophy.
Sure.
It's not about like seeking out pain for the sake of it, right?
Right.
It's more about recognizing that the tough stuff, the challenges we usually try to avoid, those are actually the crucibles where, real growth happens.
Exactly. Because those are actually opportunities in disguise. Like they're chances to become stronger, more resilient versions of ourselves.
I love that.
He tells this crazy story in the book about pushing through this insane training session.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was hallucinating, injured, the whole 9 yards, but he just kept going
Wow.
because he knew, like, that's where the transformation was happening. He was actively choosing to forge himself in the fire, so to speak.
And that's where this whole cookie jar thing comes in, right?
Right.
And I know he doesn't mean like actual cookies.
Yeah.
He's talking about creating a mental storehouse of your past victories, Like those times you pushed yourself beyond what you thought possible.
Right. Like, pull out one of those memories when you hit a wall, when those doubts creep in,
Yeah.
and use it as fuel to keep going.
It's so smart because we all have those moments where we like question our abilities,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
but having this reservoir of past wins helps combat that self-doubt, right?
Absolutely. You can literally remind yourself of your own strength and resilience. Just by recalling those times you proved yourself wrong, those times you accomplished something you didn't think you could.
That's so powerful. Think about it, everyone listening. What are some of your cookie jar moments? Those accomplishments, big or small, that you can draw on when things get tough.
We all have them.
We all have them. And Goggins reminds us to use them, strategically.
Definitely.
But he also stresses the importance of being brutally honest with ourselves. And that's where the whole accountability mirror concept comes in.
Right. Looking in the mirror, no distractions.
Yeah.
Asking yourself the hard questions. No sugarcoating, no excuses.
Just being real. What are your weaknesses? What are you avoiding? Where are you settling?
It's about taking ownership, like radical self-honesty.
Oh, I like that.
Taking complete ownership of your life, your growth, because blaming other things, blaming external factors, it doesn't get you anywhere, right?
Right.
Real change starts with looking inward and committing to that continuous self-improvement. And Goggins argues that the accountability mirror is such a powerful tool for forcing yourself to confront those uncomfortable truths.
Yep.
And then to actually, take action to address them.
So it's like having a direct conversation with the person responsible for your growth.
Yeah.
You.
There you go.
And it's not about, beating yourself up.
Right.
It's about identifying those areas where you can push harder, challenge yourself more.
And ultimately become a better version of yourself.
Become a better version of yourself.
That's key. And it's not about like perfection.
Right.
It's about progress. It's about constantly seeking ways to level up.
To close the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Exactly.
How do we bridge that gap? Well, Goggins says controlling your mind is the key, the ultimate key to success. He talks about how he overcame his own self-doubt by, reframing his thoughts, turning negative self-talk into fuel for his fire.
Mindset is everything, right?
Yeah.
You have a power to choose your thoughts, and your thoughts really shape your reality.
I love that.
He has some incredible examples from his own life about how he used mental reframing to accomplish things that, seemed impossible.
It's like you can train your mind to work for you, not against you.
Yeah.
And he gives specific techniques for doing that, which we'll dive into a bit more later. But first, I want to talk about this idea of the war within, which is like one of the most powerful concepts in the book.
Oh, totally.
What did you think about that?
It's such a great metaphor for that constant battle we all face against our own fears, limitations, and those negative impulses, right? We all have that inner critic, that voice of doubt that tries to hold us back.
All the time.
Yeah.
So it's not about pretending these struggles don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, confronting them, and then choosing to fight back.
Exactly. And Goggins really emphasizes this isn't a one-time battle.
No,
It's an ongoing war
it is.
that requires constant vigilance. You have to actively choose to fight those negative thoughts and impulses every single day.
So it's about cultivating that inner strength, that mental toughness, that allows you to push through when things get tough.
Absolutely.
And that actually leads perfectly into like one of the most important takeaways from Never Finished, this whole idea of never being satisfied.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Goggins is adamant about this. Complacency is the enemy of growth. The moment you become satisfied, the moment you stop pushing yourself, you stagnate.
Feels like you hit pause on your own evolution.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's all about like setting new goals, constantly striving to improve,
Yeah.
never settling for like good enough.
And he believes that this constant pursuit of growth is what gives life meaning.
It gives life purpose.
Purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
Now think about this. What areas in your life are you settling in?
Oh, good question.
Where could you push harder? Challenge yourself more. Maybe it's your career, relationships, your physical fitness, or even just your personal development. What do you think?
It's a good point. And he's not saying you have to be striving for some massive life-altering goal all the time. Sometimes it's about those small incremental improvements that like add up over time.
Exactly.
The key is to like maintain that forward momentum, that hunger for growth.
And it's not about comparing yourself to others either.
No, definitely not.
It's about being the best version of yourself.
Yes.
Constantly striving to, evolve and improve based on your own definition of success.
And that's where his message gets really inspiring, I think. He's
Right.
not just talking about achieving those like external goals. It's about this deeper sense of fulfillment that comes from pushing yourself and
Yeah.
becoming the best version of yourself.
It really is. He argues that this never-finished mentality, this desire to learn, grow, and evolve, that's what gives life meaning and purpose.
Totally. It's about always having something to strive for, always having a reason to, get out of bed in the morning and push yourself to new heights.
Yeah.
Reading this book, it's hard not to get swept up in his energy. He's so passionate about this message, and it's like contagious.
Oh, for sure.
And he didn't start out as some superhuman. He transformed himself through willpower and determination. He's like a walking example of what's possible when you decide to take control.
That's true.
So what stands out to you? What's the most impactful takeaway so far?
The cookie jar,
Mm.
the accountability mirror, the importance of mindset, or this idea of never being satisfied.
Or maybe all of them.
It's hard to pick just one. I think for me, it's how Goggins ties all these concepts together. It's not just about one technique or, one strategy. It's about building this holistic, like mental toughness, embracing the grind, using the cookie jar, being brutally honest in the accountability mirror, and, constantly pushing yourself beyond those self-imposed limits. It's all connected, for sure. And what's fascinating is this never-finished mentality isn't just about hitting some random goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Goggins connects it to a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in life, like recognizing that the journey itself, the constant striving, is what actually matters.
So it's not about reaching the finish line and then just coasting.
Exactly. He says that complacency kills passion.
Oh, wow.
By always looking for new challenges, you keep that fire lit. And there's actually research to back this up. Studies show that having a sense of purpose is linked to greater well-being, increased resilience, even a longer lifespan.
That makes sense. If you have that drive, that something you're working towards, it keeps you engaged.
Absolutely.
Right.
And Goggins takes it a step further. He argues that this pursuit of growth isn't just about personal satisfaction, It's about unlocking your potential to actually contribute to something bigger than yourself.
So it's not just self-improvement for the sake of self-improvement.
Right.
It's about becoming a better version of yourself so you can, contribute more, give more, and leave a positive impact.
Exactly. And that brings us back to this never being satisfied idea. While it's important to celebrate your achievements,
For sure.
Goggins stresses the importance of always looking to, level up, expand your horizons, continue pushing yourself beyond what you think you're limited to.
I see what you mean. But doesn't that run the risk of, burnout? I mean, if you're always striving for more, when do you actually get to enjoy what you've accomplished?
That's a great point, and Goggins knows this. Finding that balance between ambition and contentment, that's a crucial.
Yeah.
He's not saying to have this crazy life with no rest or enjoyment. It's about a mindset of continuous growth,
Yeah.
but also appreciating where you are right now.
So it's not about denying yourself happiness.
Right.
It's about realizing that true fulfillment comes from both, achieving your goals and enjoying the journey.
Exactly. And maybe that's the ultimate challenge, the next level. To be able to celebrate your wins while still being hungry for more. It's like uh, walking a tightrope between ambition and contentment,
Yeah.
knowing when to push and when to just, like, pause.
That's a powerful image. Finding that sweet spot, where you're driven, but you also can appreciate how far you've already come and enjoy the present moment.
That's it. And that's where self-awareness comes in. Goggins talks about checking in with yourself, like regularly,
Yeah.
assessing your goals, making sure they actually line up with your values and what you want.
So that's making sure you're still on the right path.
Right.
That
Constantly evaluating, making adjustments, not just blindly going forward.
not on autopilot. So it's not just set it and forget it with your goals. It's about staying engaged, being mindful of your progress,
Yeah. And course correcting as you go.
which means being honest with yourself about what's working, what's not.
Absolutely. It's about having the courage to, like, let go of goals that don't serve you anymore and embracing new challenges that fit with who you are now.
That's brave. It's easy to get caught up in chasing a goal even when it's not what you want anymore.
It happens all the time. Goggins says we need to ask ourselves those hard questions like, why am I doing this? Does this even matter to me anymore? Is this leading me to the life I want?
Those are questions we should all be asking, regardless of our goals, making sure our actions match our values, that we're living a life that feels real and fulfilling.
That's what it's all about. And that's where Goggins' message really hits home. It's not about success on someone else's terms. It's about defining success for yourself and going after it, even when it means doing things differently, challenging what everyone else thinks.
Taking ownership, defining your own path, and then having the guts to walk it, even when it's hard.
Exactly. And Goggins shows us over and over how he did that, from overcoming a tough childhood to becoming a Navy SEAL to pushing himself further than anyone thought possible.
He's living proof that we all have that capacity for greatness. It's up to us to tap into it.
And his story is so inspiring because he wasn't born with some, like, special advantage.
Right.
It's about mindset, hard work, never giving up, and embracing that never finished mentality.
Never finished. That's what makes this book so powerful. It's not just like a bunch of stories or motivational quotes.
It's a guide for anyone who wants to tap into their inner strength and create a life of purpose.
What I found really striking is that Goggins doesn't pretend to be superhuman, Like, he doesn't act like he's immune to pain or doubt.
No, not
He's super open about his struggles, his setbacks, the mental battles he's fought.
That's what makes him so relatable.
Yeah.
He's not some untouchable figure. He's a human being who's faced challenges and overcome them through sheer will.
And that's powerful.
Yeah. He's saying, look, if I can do it, so can you.
And he doesn't just tell us to do it. He actually gives us the tools and strategies. He shows us how.
That's what sets this book apart from others. It's not just inspiration, it's about taking action. Goggins gives you concrete steps to cultivate mental toughness, overcome self-doubt, and achieve your goals.
Like having a coach right there in your pocket, pushing you to be your best, reminding you you're capable of more.
That's a great way to put it. So before we wrap up our deep dive, let's take a moment to think about what we've discussed. Embracing the grind, the cookie jar, waging war against your inner critic, never being satisfied.
Lots to unpack.
It really is. And as we move toward our final thoughts, I want you to consider this. Goggins talks about never being satisfied, always striving for more. But how do you define enough? When do you celebrate what you've done while still pushing forward? It's a balancing act. Ambition and contentment.
That's a really good question. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing goals and forget to appreciate what we've already done.
It is. And it's also easy to be so focused on the future that we miss out on the good stuff happening right now.
So it's about finding that balance, that sweet spot.
Exactly. And that's a different journey for everyone.
It's like we're all on our own little quests,
Yeah.
And Goggins is like this wise, experienced adventurer giving us like tips and tricks along the way.
That's a great analogy. He definitely reminds us that it's not going to be easy.
Right.
There will be those times when you trip up, or even think about giving up.
Oh, yeah.
But it's those moments,
Yeah.
right? That's when you got to dig deep
You got to dig deep.
and remember why you even started in the first place.
And he talks so much about the importance of self-belief. Like having that faith in yourself, in your ability to get past those obstacles and, reach those goals.
It all comes back to that, doesn't it?
It does. And he doesn't just Preach it. He lives it. His whole life story just shows the power of believing in yourself even when nobody else
I
does.
mean, look at him. From overweight and depressed to, like, Navy SEAL and ultra marathon runner.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's not just physical either. It's mental, emotional, like a total transformation.
Total overhaul.
It's like he reprogrammed his brain for success. And he shows us we can do it too. Maybe not all of us want to run 100 miles or do those crazy challenges, but we can use those same principles, Mental toughness, the self-belief, and apply them to our own lives, to our own goals.
It's all about adapting it to you.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his message so powerful, I think. It's not just for, like, athletes or those super driven types. It's for anyone, anyone who wants to reach their full potential, push past their limits, and create a life that actually feels meaningful.
He makes it so accessible, and he's honest about the fact that it's going to be tough,
Yeah.
He's not afraid of the hard work. He actually, leans into it
He embraces it.
because he knows the challenges we face are the opportunities to grow. It's about pushing past those comfort zones, discovering what we're really made of.
Like, he talks about pushing yourself to the point where you just want to quit and then pushing even further.
Beyond that breaking point.
And it's not because you like to suffer.
Right.
It's because you understand that's where the real magic happens.
When you're tempted to just give up, that's when you discover how strong you actually are.
And that's when that cookie jar comes in handy, right?
Yes. When you hit that wall, when you want to throw in the towel, and you can pull out one of those past victories and remind yourself, I've done this before. I can do it again.
It's about having that proof.
Evidence.
Yeah. Evidence that you're capable of more than you think you are. And then, building on that belief in yourself, even when it gets rough. Because like Goggins says, when you doubt yourself, that's when fear takes over.
I've heard that before. It's almost like those doubts and fears are like these outside forces trying to pull you down. And your self-belief is like the power that keeps you moving forward.
That's exactly it. And Goggins gives us so many tools to strengthen that power. The accountability mirror, mental reframing, embracing the grind. It's like a mental workout routine to build, an unbreakable spirit.
An unbreakable spirit. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listener to take away from all of this?
I think it boils down to this. Never Finished isn't just a catchy title.
It's more than a book.
It's a philosophy. It's about constantly growing, challenging yourself, and never settling.
Never being satisfied with average.
Right, pushing past your limits. And not just for those big accomplishments. It's also about inner strength, resilience, really believing in yourself.
It's about becoming the best version of you, not for anyone else, but for yourself. And knowing that this journey never really ends.
It's ongoing.
There's always something new to learn, new experiences to have.
So keep pushing, keep growing, keep challenging yourself, and never, ever stop believing in your ability to do incredible things.
That's the message. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Never Finished. We hope you got as much out of it as we did. And remember, as Goggins says, you are capable of more than you think.